Okay. I want to talk about your book, Keto Green.
Mhm.
Okay. So what's, I want to back it up and say, first of all, there are not a lot of doctors, especially at least OBGYNs that I've met, who are even using the word keto. What made you unafraid to go there?
Oh, that is a good question. And it was, it's been my life experience. So I work, there's a couple things and tell you some of my background. So I'm I'm trained at some of the best institutions and practiced in some of the best, trained in some of the best institutions in the world. Right. And so this kind of always relying on my doctor's bag. And for a portion of my life, my doctor's bag was empty when it came to me and when it came to helping patients. So, one of my daughters has a seizure disorder that started when she was in her early 20s. And she's my stepdaughter, and I tried to figure out what it was, right? And one of the things that I recognized from the research was that, ketogenic diet can help decrease seizure activity.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, that's fascinating. That's interesting. So in my neurologic patients, I started more of a keto type diet, carbohydrate restricted, as well as my candida patients with chronic yeast infections or inflammation, those with diabetes and negative consequences always came to yeast infections of that, but not just gynecologic vaginal yeast infections, systemic infections, sinus infections. So I started recognizing the power of the nutritional component even more so in patient care. And then when I hit my mid to late 40s, I experienced, and I had been well over 240 pounds at one point, lost that weight, kept
Crazy.
it off, crazy,
Amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I started like without doing anything different, 20 pounds came on, feeling like it was overnight, right? All of a sudden. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything different. What's going on? And I was like, well, first of all, and I was irritable and I was cranky and I'm 48 and I've got two teenagers in school, one in middle school, one in high school, and a wee one in elementary school, all daughters. And if any moms out there raising daughters know the power of manipulation and they will take advantage of your brain fog, let me tell you, not a good place to be. So,
She
and
won't remember she said that. Don't worry. You can get away with
exactly.
it.
Exactly. Or if I keep saying or keep asking it in different ways, she'll eventually say yes. Because yeah. So
They do
power
wear
of
you
argument.
down. Yeah.
They wear you down. And I was wearable, right? Like I was just burnt out. I was really at that stage, I was burnt out from everything. And so the weight gain was really distressing. So I went very strict carbohydrate restricting, went very strict keto. Again, been familiar with it for my oldest daughter. And then I started feeling keto cranky, keto crazy, I call it, irritable, like not comfortable in my own skin, even overreacting instead of responding. And I was, what's going on here? And I'm a functional medicine doctor. I'm trained OBGYN, trained in hormones, trained in sexual medicine, trained in functional
You have
medicine,
literally all of the certifications. Check, check, check,
all of
check,
them.
check.
Yeah. If there's more, send them my way. I want more.
Right.
But no, I'm done. I said I'm not getting any more board certifications. So yeah, for now. And so I dug into the reason. I started doing what I tell my patients to do when I'm running them through a modified elimination diet. I check your urine pH. I want it alkaline because I know we're kicking out, we're supporting the liver, we're supporting detox, we're kicking out toxins, and we need to do it safely. And acidic pH is associated with more inflammation. And so I checked my urine pH and it was as acidic as the pH paper read. Like, I use pH strips. You can use pH paper
You just get those
and
at the drugstore.
you can get them at the drugstore. These are the ones I'm holding are keto pH strips that have ketone and pH on
Oh,
it because
cool.
I created these because otherwise I was having all kinds of paper in my bathroom.
Well, I need to put the link to those in the show notes.
Absolutely. And so checking your urinary ketones and pH at the same time. And especially So I was as acidic as my pH, as the pH paper read. So who knows how, actually acidic I was. And that was an aha moment for me. That was a light bulb. And I was like, "Oh, no wonder I'm feeling so irritable." So I just started adding the alkalinizers. I wasn't willing to gain 1 pound back for that alkalinity, but I knew that had to add the herbs and spices. I used my Mighty Maca Plus supplement. I started doing 3 scoops a day. I added lemon to my morning water. I added herbs and spices and the low carbohydrate greens, the beet greens. Oh, I made some up last night, Anna. You should have been in my kitchen with me and
Mm,
my daughters. We were
mm,
batch cooking. Oh, you would love
love
it.
it.
And so the beet greens and the microgreens and the herbs and spices, broccoli sprouts, cruciferous vegetables for hormone balance. I started really identifying the foods to help support hormones, hormone detoxification, as well as the adrenal glands. And so I added those in, and lo and behold, I got more alkaline and in good, strong ketosis at the same time. And that combination is tricky. It's challenging. Like I always tell clients, try it, get to that state and tell me how you feel. And they're like rock star, energized, feeling so clear. And that's what it was for me. Not only did I lose those 20 pounds very quickly, but I also gained my memory back. I gained clarity, and nothing in my external world had changed, but I was calmer, happier, more joyful. In the Bible, it says the peace that surpasses all understanding. I mean, there's a physiology to that. There's a mental, physical physiology to that. And also recognizing that when I'm stressed and when I'm fearful and when I'm not sleeping well, that it doesn't matter how well I ate for the day, how much I spent at Whole Foods, that urine pH will be acidic, because cortisol is the most acidifying hormone in our body. So it's not just about what we eat, it's about how we think, when we eat, who we're eating with, right? All those things come into play in what I call the keto
Don't
green
dine with your
way.
enemies, people.
Don't dine with your enemies. Don't dine with the news on.
Oh, that's the truth. Okay. You said 100 things that I want to ask you about. We're not going to get to all of them, but let me start to break this down, because there are so many women in my audience. And also, I got a text because I was saying in my clubhouse yesterday, I'm going to talk to you and to look out for this interview to come in a few weeks. And I also got a text from a guy in my group saying, like, where is it going to be? Is it going to be live? I want my wife to listen. So I was like, yes, that's right. Men, if you have a woman in your life, you're going to want to hear this too, or at least send this interview to her. Okay. What is the difference? Oh, I forgot to plug in my computer. Hold on. Now we're charging. We don't want the computer to die in the middle of this.
That's happened
What?
to me once.
Explain. Okay. You're explaining the idea behind the alkaline foods. So let me just see if I'm getting this correct. Uh-oh. There you are. If you add in more cruciferous and leafy greens to a pretty traditional meat-based keto carnivore diet, you're going to take it from acidic to alkaline. Is that the
Yes, you're going to
idea?
help support, your body getting rid of acidity or changing to more of an alkaline urinary pH, which we know from the great new book by Dr. David Perlmutter called Drop Acid, about the importance of clearing uric acid from your system. And heavy meat based and meat and wine, which I could live on, meat and wine,
Yeah,
is
I know.
very will increase your uric acid. And your high uric acid is associated with metabolic syndrome, diabetes, heart disease.
Isn't the
And
uric acid, is that the thing in gout?
it is. And that's what, as physicians, we were trained. Oh, well, you only need to measure uric acid if it's associated with gout. No, it is a powerful metabolic
Wow.
marker. And what I know now is that when we increase the urine pH, you are clearing more uric acid out of your system. So then you're more metabolically healthy. That's
So
that powerful. That's so
that's
powerful.
amazing. Wait, so should we be asking our doctors like how we now know to ask for a full thyroid panel or adrenal screening? Like, should we make sure you're screening the uric acid? Is that something we should be asking for?
Absolutely,
Or is it
absolutely.
part of the
To get that
CBC?
number. And you can get uric acid monitors just like you can get glucose monitors.
Oh,
And I'm about
oh,
to
another
order one.
monitor.
I know. Oh God, I love all these gadgets, but I need a bigger kitchen. Um, so you can, and I haven't done that yet, but yeah, it used to be part of our normal chemistry screen. As physicians, we would order that. Now, people can also do self-testing, because sometimes physicians don't, like aren't aware, but you can ask as part of a chemistry to do a uric acid screen. So
So
as part
it's something you can, yeah. Like for
of, you
example,
can order it yourself. Yeah.
I ask for my advanced lipid panel whenever they do the cholesterol because I already know that we're going to have to look at the different particles.
Fractional particles. Exactly.
Fractional particles.
It's so important. It's
No.
so critically important. Otherwise, I always think a bucket of sand, I mean, you're looking at a bucket of sand, but there's a lot more in it. There's a
Right.
lot of stuff in there and you want to look at what that is.